In the world of Alphadgard, the demon lord was on a roll, conquering everything. But now he's just bored out of his mind. Then boom, he spots a squad of angels heading his way. He's stoked. Never thought the big guy upstairs would step in personally. Michael, the Seraphim, is all. We can't let you run the show anymore. And then it's on. Epic battle time. For 3 days and nights, he goes solo against all the angels. In the end, he's the last one standing. Totally beat up, but still kicking. Feeling a bit worn out, he spots Ishtar, the demon army captain. She gives an angel a face kick while the MC's like, why the betrayal now? Turns out she couldn't rebel before, but now she's eyeing heaven and earth. He cracks up at this nonsense, wondering if she really thinks she can take him down. The traitor's shocked he's still acting tough and orders all demons to attack him. Another fight kicks off, but this time he's not strong enough. Even though he dishes out some serious damage, his fate's sealed. Now we see this dude's got skills. Pulling off a self-reincarnation move. He lands in Tokyo, where dungeons are popping up. You know the drill. A Cyclops is causing chaos, smashing war tanks. Before he can harm a kid, our guy swoops in to save the day. With one punch, he makes the creature's split personality show up. He plays it cool, and turns out he's an S-rank hunter. Skipping the boring stuff. Everyone knows about dungeons and hunters. Let's get to the juicy bits. A kid's watching TV, thinking about the hunter era. He's bummed because being a hunter is all about genetics. If your dad's cool, you're cool. But if he's a dud, well, you get it. And apparently the kid's dad's a dud who comes home and roughs him up. After a rough night, not the fun kind, the kid's phone starts glowing weirdly. Under a tree, a boy's defending his buddy from bullies. The orphanage's goal is to send talented kids to hunter school. And soon, a girl takes her test. Later, Yuzuki starts protecting the young boy, making him feel lame for needing her help. Yuzuki, dubbed a genius from day one, gets sent to hunter school super early. Knowing this, she tells the boy she can't protect him anymore, saying the weak have their own way of fighting and to live smart. Then she walks away, leaving Hiroto feeling weak, but he knows she meant well. Still, her words cut deep. Time passes, and a group is in a beginner hunter training dungeon, a must-do for future hunter school students. Herodato's in that group with a healer and a support mage. 2 veterans force the newbies to agree on their reward terms. Hai thinks those 2 are as annoying as ever, but someone yells for them to hold up, saying rewards should be based on merit, not just handed out. Before the boy can keep arguing, he gets a gut punch. They start beating him, asking how he can be so cocky, acting like he's better. Suddenly, Hiroto tells them to stop, but he freezes, remembering Yuzuki's advice to live wisely. Then he starts thinking he's really pathetic. The man keeps kicking him while his buddy tries to stop him, saying if the boy's useless, no one can crack the treasure. The young guy says he'll handle the boy once they're out of the dungeon. Then the group moves deeper into the cave, not realizing they're being watched until a bunch of goblins jump out of the shadows, charging at them. The veterans whip out their swords and take down the goblins. One dude's totally losing it, yelling at the mage to speed up his magic game. Mage grabs his staff, ready to back them up. Meanwhile, the 2 young guys are busy taking down goblins. Then most of the crew jumps in to help out, except for Hiroto and his buddy, who know they just be in the way. Cause, as mentioned before, there's a big gap in how fast people level up. Eventually, the squad wipes out all the goblins. The guys start griping at the mage, saying he was too slow and asking if he wants his reward cut again. Hiroto walks up to this kid, giving props for standing up to those 2. And the kid says in a situation like that, he had no choice. He adds that everyone was risking their necks, even if it was a newbie dungeon, and it's not fair to hog the reward. The kid also mentions he needs cash. Hiroto's curious about that, and the kid spills that he wants to start a non-profit hunter guild because the current one ignores the poor. Then he asks Hiroto if he knows how many lives could be saved with dungeon potions because these potions have some wild healing powers and work on some untreatable diseases. The kid says he heard the potion costs a fortune. He reveals that it could have helped his big sis, but he couldn't snag one because he was broke, making him think the potion doesn't reach those who really need it. Hiroto says the kid's pretty awesome, just as he thought, and asks for his name. The kid introduces himself as Akira Tachibana. With that, the 2 boys introduce themselves. Soon after, a veteran spots a treasure chest in the goblin's nest and asks Akira to unlock it. The kid gets pumped to finally have his moment to shine. Then the young guys try to rush him, but he tells them to chill because if the trap goes off, he's the one in danger. The veterans turn away, cursing the kid. Nearby, the mage says there shouldn't be deadly traps in a beginner's dungeon. While Akira's focused on the chest, the others are chilling. Hiroto thinks the place is safe since no one's ever died there. Suddenly, a spine, tingling scream echoes. Looking ahead, they see Akira, who probably triggered the trap and got skewered by spears. Then the ground starts cracking and a massive hole opens up, swallowing everyone. Harold wakes up wondering if that was a trap. Then he sees Akira already lifeless in front of him, leaving him shaken as it's the first dead body he's ever seen. And he realizes the others will see him as weak, making him terrified of reliving that awful experience. After a bit, they get up. The healer freaks out seeing Akira dead and bolts in fear, leaving her veteran fuming at her cowardly move, and he hits the mage. His buddy's also ticked off and tells them to quit the drama. Then he says the kid was just a dumb thief who died alone and asks if there are any more issues. Scared of him, the young guys stay quiet. Another guy says they only lost a treasure chest and claims the group's attack power is unchanged. Then they decide to head back to where they were. One young guy asks if Hiroto's got the rope, and he says he'll grab it as soon as possible, and the kid does, but he can't focus because of his dead buddy. After leaving, the mage cries, saying the dungeon was for beginners and no one should have died. The healer suggests it might be a dungeon paradox. A veteran asks if she means when the dungeon's difficulty suddenly gets weird. The girl says she heard rumors it happens every few years. Right after the guys laugh, relieve the kid was the one who got picked off since he didn't affect their fighting power. Hiroto, though, feels uneasy about them mocking his buddy. Still, he starts worrying about the theory of a dungeon paradox. Then the group keeps moving and the healer suddenly stops. The kid's curious about what's up, and the girl says she felt something underfoot. Suddenly, the ground starts shaking and a paw emerges in front of them until a pack of wolves charges at the group. The veterans are totally freaked out, knowing they can't handle those beasts, those creatures. Silver wolves, ranked E difficulty. Yikes. One dude's all, these wolves shouldn't even be here, man. The mage is like, and there shouldn't be a trap summoning monsters in a newbie dungeon. The crew's panicking, knowing they can't outrun those shiny fangs. What's going down is a full-on dungeon paradox. No capítulo. As the name hints, a wild chain of attacks is coming for the hunters. The long-haired dude's like, what do we do now, bro? And his buddy gives Hiroto a psycho stare. No chill. Thanks to training, the kids learn about monsters in the beginner's dungeon and silver fangs. They target the weakest link. Brutal. The guys start cracking up, saying they'd bail, except Hiroto. The chubby one tells the boy to run the other way. LOL. Scared, the kid's like, are you for real right now? The dude tells the mage to zap the boy, using him as bait, but it won't work if he runs with them. Hearing that, the mage is sweating bullets and Hiroto's still scared, asking if he really do it. Tears in his eyes. The kid's like, sorry, my bad. Hiroto asks the healer to help him convince the others this ain't funny. The girl agrees with them, saying she doesn't want to die. Mood. The boy's like, we'd survive better as a squad. Duh. And his two pals start bawling, saying sorry. Hiroto's like, what are they even saying? Then they zoom past him, leaving him in the dust. Seeing them ditch him, the boy's like, do they really think apologizing makes it okay? Hiroto starts running from the wolves, thinking this world is so knotted where the weak get wrecked. And that includes Yuzuki, too. Then the wolves catch up to the boy, making him scream in pain from all the bites. The boy's like, am I really going to die here? He wishes he wasn't someone who needs saving anymore, but someone who can protect too. The kid's frustrated he can't do anything yet, making him want to be strong even more. Nearby, his phone starts glowing all weird. The wolf pack notices and for some reason bails, leaving Hiroto hurt on the ground. A message pops up on his phone saying a strong power wish was detected and access to Hiroto's soul is complete. Then the phone glows super bright along with the boy's body. Hiroto's panel shows up and his life bar, which was at 0, fills up again. Also, he gets a new ability lit. After a bit, the boy wakes up totally healed and his clothes are shredded. Apparently, his new power brought him back to life. The boy's shook he's still alive and curious how all his wounds vanished. Then he grabs his phone, realizing it's all he has. The boy sees Demon Lord application on his screen and wonders what that's about. Hiroto's confused cause he doesn't remember downloading it. Then he spots the blood on his clothes, reminding him of the nightmare he just survived. Those memories make him feel queasy. The boy's like, I can't even with what just happened. But being alone means he was ditched and it wasn't a dream, while grabbing his boot that came off during the attack. Hiroto decides his top priority is to survive and bounce from there. The kid starts creeping through the cave, hiding behind columns. Doesn't take long before he finds a bunch of KO'd goblins. The boy figures his ditching pals did this, but one goblin's still kicking and it jumps on him, biting his neck. Ouch! They hit the ground, and the goblins got him by the neck while the creature gave him a nasty glare. Then the monster starts wailing on him. Goblins are weak, but Hiroto is getting wrecked by a one-armed one, making him realize he's still below even this weakling. Then the goblin lands a hit on his eye, but his power kicks in again. After a certain time, unconditional and limited effects are granted within a time frame. The goblin gears up to attack the kid again, but before anything happens, the boy's eyes starts glowing like a disco ball, and in seconds, he's all healed up like magic. The monster's totally shook by this. Then it charges at the human again, but Hiroto's ready, and he lands a punch right in its eye. The creature backs off, writhing in pain like it just stubbed its toe. The boy seizes the moment, grabs a rock, and smacks it in the face. A panel pops up saying the boy took down the monster and that the goblin variant got absorbed by the demon lord's body through the app. With that, the info panel about the boy updates, leveling up all his skills, including his health bar. Hi's like, well, what's going on? Meanwhile, the group that ditched him is running away, and one of the vets gets checked out by the same app as Hiroto. The protagonist is shocked to see the young man's stats, getting even more confused about what's up with this game. Then, the young man senses something lurking in the shadows and wonders how he knows that. Soon after, Hiroto closes his eyes, feeling the presence of a nearby monster, and the boy thinks about those rumors that thieves can sense danger. Then, the protagonist stands up with a rock and throws it, drawing the monster's attention to where it landed. Turning around, the creature sees the boy charging at it and smacking it with another rock. The pig starts squealing in pain. Hiroto takes the chance and keeps hitting the creature. The boy thinks his ambush worked, but it wasn't a total win. Since it's clear orcs are tougher than goblins are rank F, orcs are level E, and those wolves were rank D. Knowing this, the boy gets that even though his ambush worked, victory wasn't a sure thing. Then Hiroto figures if he used that rock with his current strength, it wouldn't hurt the monster and decides to attack from a smart spot. After a bit, the protagonist finally takes down the orc. That green panel shows up again, saying a special bonus was given to all stats. With that, Hiroto levels up from 2 to 3, boosting his stats to 7. The boy is still puzzled about what's going on. While checking the panel, he notices his strength is a bit higher than the other stats. Then, the protagonist picks up that rock again. His hand starts shaking with power, and in seconds the rock shatters. The boy's jaw drops, seeing his strength level up. Hiroto wonders if this is trainee-level strength from adventurer school, and finds it weird since he's got low aptitude. Seeing that panel, the boy questions if it's real. Some bats on the ceiling start getting hit, and the one attacking is the protagonist. Thinking about how he learned a lot from that mysterious message window, the boy gets that defeating creatures activates the demon lord's ability. Then Hiroto takes down another orc with ease as goblins and orcs are muscle types giving bonus strength stats. The bonus from bats is for agility. Mana comes from defeating skeletons and constitution from taking out a golem. Then the boy opens his panel again. Now at level 4 with most stats between 10 and 9. Even knowing he's leveling up fast, he didn't expect to jump 2 levels at once. The boy decides to head back to the dungeon and try to reach its deepest part, but he finds out he can't go there without permission. The young man's bummed because he wanted to take down the silver fong there. A window pops up, saying he has a new mission starting 10 seconds after conquering the beginner dungeon. Hiroto's like, what's happening? The panel disappears. A noise echoes in the cave, and when he looks back, the boy sees that pack of wolves. The beasts don't waste time and charge at the boy. The protagonist grins, thinking this isn't just a dungeon-level fight anymore. Hiroto checks his agility stats and realizes he's not in danger yet. The wolves start surrounding the boy, who stays super alert, trusting his sixth sense. One of the animals attacks, but the protagonist dodges it easily. Seeing that, Hiroto gets hyped, realizing he's getting super strong. Thanks to his evolution, the kid can now keep up with the speed of the Silver Fangs. Right after, he charges at one of the wolves and lands a solid kick. But surprise, that wolf's acting like it just got a tickle. Hiroto figures out he's going to need a weapon to do any real damage. Next thing, the wolves circle him again. The kid's super annoyed with this whole situation. He swings at one of the wolves, but it dodges like a ninja. Then bam, the wolf knocks him to the ground. The other wolves see their chance and start piling on him. And just like that, our hero gets taken out again. But then his special ability kicks in. His life bar goes back to full. No biggie, because the demon lord's life force got transferred to him. One of the hands a wolf was munching on starts glowing, and so do the other parts of his body. In no time, the kid's back to full health. Hiroto opens his eyes and realizes he's floating, but gravity's like, nope. And he hits the ground and acts like he's not surrounded by a pack of hungry wolves. The wolves charge at him again. His ability kicks in, bringing some serious pain tolerance. His body parts start glowing again. And once more, Hiroto's back in action, but he's still facing the wolves, feeling kind of stuck. While getting attacked, he thinks about how having a body that won't die is a real headache. Like for someone who's always getting hurt, dying would be a relief. But for immortals, that relief never comes. So immortality is the ultimate bummer. And now he's living that nightmare. The kid keeps getting knocked down, but his ability keeps bringing him back. After another resurrection, he realizes his pain doesn't change a thing, no matter what they do. Hiroto hits the ground and punches a wolf in the face. But he knows it's pointless without a weapon. So he decides he needs something sharp. He remembers Akira's body, and that's why he came back here. He bolts towards it and pulls out a sword stuck in it. A wolf tries to sneak up on him, but he spins around and counters it. Hiroto grins, seeing his move worked. With one wolf down, he decides to take on the rest because it's time to wrap up this messy fight. In an interview, a guy says to level up as a hunter, you gotta hunt solo first, then take down a Hile monster. Then he asks his buddy what she thinks about a newbie taking out 100 silver fangs, because that would be epic. Back in the cave, Hiro wipes out all the wolves and lets out a scream that echoes everywhere. His special ability kicks in, leveling him up, and he even scores a giant Slayer title. After that, he levels up overall, boosting his stats. The kid's left scratching his head. Not getting any of it, he decides to check out his new title, which adds 5% HP at each level. Hai thinks if that's true, it's a sweet bonus to snag in no time, but he gets all thoughtful, unsure if he can trust that window. Then he spots a bell symbol on his panel and hits it. A new panel pops up asking if he wants to tackle a higher-ranked dungeon with tougher monsters from other dimensions. He's shocked since he hasn't even hit the deepest part yet. He remembers the beginner dungeon's deep part was linked to another dungeon before. He looks at the wolves he took down, amazed at how much stronger he's gotten, and that he even snagged the Demon Lord effect, but it's still a higher-ranked dungeon with tougher beasts. And even though he can't die, he still feels pain, making him wish to avoid that mess again. Herod turns to leave, but hears someone calling him. He instantly thinks of his old buddy. He asks the panel how much time he has left with this ability, and it shows he's got 32 days left. Then Hiroto starts calling himself a dummy, because he's been living like a total slacker this whole time. In frustration, he starts hurting himself while wondering if he could really keep living this way. Then that glow pops up again, and his wounds magically heal. The main dude takes a deep breath and says anyone who doesn't step up won't have a future. Right after the boy yells he's down to try that higher level dungeon. And then that glow surrounds him again, zapping him away. Meanwhile, in a house, two old-timers are having a blast. One mentions he's seen loads of dungeon mishaps. His buddy says it's still wild since it was a death in a newbie dungeon. Suddenly, everyone in the crew cracks up. One guy points out it hasn't happened in a decade. The chubby dude stops laughing and says it's a bummer. His buddy hands him a drink, saying even the strong get shook seeing someone they know bite the dust. The man takes the drink, telling him not to be dumb. Then he mentions an inspector from the hunter school will watch their mock battle next week. The boy says that kids should join their squad, and the chubby guy says he'll make him his rival later. Then they laugh while the man moans about not being the best, not noticing the app open on one of the phones. Hiroto's clothes are shredded, clueless about how many times he's died. A wolf jumps from the shadows, chomping his arm. But in seconds, the beast is toast, and his wounds are healed. With that takedown, the boy's skills level up. It didn't take long for him to hit the deepest room of the high-level dungeon and face a giant bug. And as expected, he had more run-ins with death and revival. But eventually he took down that beast. A panel pops up saying it was searching for the ultimate way to power up the player. Now he's at level 15 with all his stats over 20. Then the boy returns from the dungeon to his world, realizing he surpassed a student hunter's level without noticing. In the real world, the chubby guy asks his buddy if he's heard the news, and he says he already knows about Hiroto. They laugh because he made it back alive from that mess. Soon after, they realize their public mock battle is safe as the boy won't join their squad. Someone walks in asking if they haven't heard yet. The guys are puzzled about what he's on about, and the young dude says there's a new rule that you can only try the mock battle once, leaving them shocked. Hiroto's sitting on his room floor thinking about losing his memories after the Hile dungeon and how people found him passed out in front of the orphanage. He starts thinking it was all a dream, the easiest way to deal with it. Then he grabs his phone and opens that app, thinking there are only two possible answers after coming this far. Looking at his stats, he wonders if his head's messed up or if it was all real. Then someone knocks on his door, and he goes to answer it, finding that skinny senior who wants to chat. They meet in a warehouse, and the man says what he wanted, waiting for him to invite him to be his rival in the mock battle. By reflex, the boy shakes his hand. The man says the young dude can't do any more mock battles that day. Then he grips the boy's hand tight with a threatening look. He says he'll make him remember that pain. But Hiroto feels nothing, leaving the senior baffled, wondering if the kid's faking it as he used a lot of force. The main dude knows it's his pain tolerance skill. Right after he lets go of the man's hand, thinking about how he feared him last time, but knows compared to the wolves, this guy is tiny. Then Hiroto starts to grin, which ticks off the man who charges at him. But before anything happens, the young dude's instincts kick in, making him see everything in slow-mo. With that, Hiroto dodges the hit super easily and counters with a punch to his opponent. After getting smacked, the dude's, "Oh, what just went down?" Hiroto's like, "Whoa, did I just do that?" While the guy's wondering who this kid is, Hiroto's thinking, this dude ain't weak. He's just super strong, and he's curious about how much stronger he needs to get. Then the guy gets up super mad, grabs Hiroto, and demands to know what just happened, because there's no way someone like Hiroto could have landed a punch on him. He says he'll let it slide if Hiroto spills the beans on his secret move, and adds that Hiroto is too weak to pull off something like that. Hearing this, Hiroto's ticked off because he could totally make this guy pay for past stuff, but he decides to chill because he doesn't want to be like him. Hiroto tells them to cut the drama. The guy's all, "Hey, you hit me first. Why are you acting all innocent?" Hiroto grabs the guy's arm, putting some muscle into it, saying stopping is the best for both of them. The skinny dude lets go, and Hiroto starts to leave, but the guy's like, "Hold up." Hiroto says he won't mess with him anymore and expects the same in return. Then Hiroto bounces out of the warehouse, leaving the guy alone, who starts raging, kicking stuff. Back in his room, Hiroto decides to draw his own blood because they all got to give blood to check their health and hunter status. Later, he hands his sample to the doc, saying sorry for being late. As he's leaving, he realizes something. If they check his samples, they might notice his power-up. Hiroto starts feeling uneasy about it. Meanwhile, the guy's with his crew getting all worked up, saying Hiroto must have pulled some trick because there's no way he could have hit him otherwise. His buddy tells him to chill out. The long-haired dude wonders if it was some rare dungeon loot, but the guy reminds him it was a beginner's dungeon. Nothing fancy there. Hearing this, the skinny dude's even more curious about how Hiroto got out of that mess. The other guy says they need to teach a lesson to anyone who underestimates them, and the guy who got smacked asks if he's trying to steal his revenge. The annoyed chubby dude grabs his buddy's shirt, saying they're having this dumb convo cause he wants to handle it solo. Then he mentions there's a body check before the mock battle, so Hiroto can't pull any tricks there. The guy says the kid's not their enemy, but his buddy's still bummed. After that, the chubby dude tells his pal not to worry, because after the mock battle, they can take him down again. With creepy looks, everyone thinks the real fun's about to kick off. In a lab, a scientist checking those blood samples. Suddenly, something on his screen freaks him out, and it's Hiroto's file. Another scientist's like, "What's up?" and comes over. The guy shows her Hiroto, who hasn't even started hunter school, but is already high level. The woman is amazed by this kid. Seeing his boosted stats, the scientist wonders if this is what happens when people hit the dungeon paradox. Then, the guy is curious about how to report this to the higher-ups, because Hiro was just level 1, and now he's level 15. But the woman says there's no need to report it since it happened before school, so they're not obligated to tell the country. Her colleagues still skeptical. The woman explains that the dungeon paradox is where weird stuff goes down. She mentions Hiroto's got an frank aptitude, meaning he won't grow much, and walks off, asking to skip the boring paperwork. The scientist's still puzzled. The woman says the world's changed since monsters showed up, and now everything's getting harder to figure out. She adds that dungeons and hunters are the same. In a cafeteria, a bunch of people watch Hiroto chow down on a massive plate of food. The kid rolls up to the cook asking for seconds, and she's all, "Why not just take the whole pot, dude?" Someone's like, "Whoa, this kid can eat." Then out of nowhere, this stunning lady shows up asking to sit with him. Herod's like, "Never seen you around here. Who are you?" She's all chill, saying she's a top instructor at the hunter school. She's curious if any promising kids showed up in the battle today, and jokes about her face being forgettable. But the older sis remembers her. Then it clicks to the main dude. She's the one who chatted up his buddy during the battle. She mentions there are tons of schools, and if she doesn't act fast, someone might get snatched by another place. She's seen the kid every year, but this time something's different about him. The boy just stays quiet. Then he shuts his eyes, saying it's not a big deal. The lady brings up the dungeon accident and how some survivors get cool powers. She asks if they can chat for a bit. She's all, "My gut feelings are never wrong." Hi's thinking she's from his buddy's school. The boy's like, "Sure, we can chat. Just don't mind my skills." When she finds out he's low level, she's like, "Oops, my bad." The kid's all, "No worries. That's normal." But then she's like, "Being low ranked is tough, huh?" She hands him her card, saying to hit her up if anything goes down. She's got his back. The main dude's thinking there are two types of people. Those who rob you and those who help. And he figures she's like his friend Yuzuki. Later at the city's hunter arena, Herodato's thinking about rumors of the military testing weapons there. The walls are made of special dungeon stuff, perfect for battles. He heads over to where everyone's at and bumps into those veteran guys again. That lady's there, too, watching the action. In the arena, a big dude walks up to Hiroto, ready to start the battle. With a smirk, he's like, I'm going all out. You're not leaving here alive. Then he jokes, back in the day, Yuzuki would have saved you, but she's not around anymore. He's all, if you die, you'll be the second in our group to go. With a sneer, he hopes Hiroto meets Akira. Hiroto Stika, seeing this guy trash talk his friend and asks if he can fight without holding back too. The judge kicks off the fight. The big guy's like, I'm going to show off the crowd. Boost my career. Suddenly, he drops his weapon. The main dude's confused, wondering what's up. With a grin, the big guy's like, taking you out with a sword's too easy. I'm using magic. He brags about being a rare magic fighter. Hai realizes the guy was hiding his power in the dungeon and didn't help him. So the kid decides to use magic too. The big guy laughs, asking what weak magic Hiroto's got. Hiroto powers up, boosting his mana. He creates this epic energy sphere. The crowd's blown away. Some even freak out, cause no one else can do that. The big guy is frozen, thinking Hiroto's bluffing. Then he throws a fireball at the kid, but Hiroto fires back, his attack swallowing the other's whole. Luckily, the big guy ducks, and the blast goes past, causing a massive explosion behind him. The crowd's going nuts after that epic power move. Meanwhile, this lady's on her feet, all impressed, wondering if that was some next-level magic. She then compares the dude to Yuzuki. She bounces, saying, this year's got another top-tier rookie. Time flies, and the boy's chilling in bed, totally blanking on what went down after he used that power. That day, he made up his mind to hit up the same school as Yuzuki. The dude also got his advance payment straight into his account. Then, our hero dozes off and gets whisked away to his subconscious. There, he bumps into a chained-up person. Hiroto's all, who even is this? Next thing, the boy wakes up freaked out by his phone, cause it says there's still 36 hours till the demon event kicks off. Suddenly, the app's glitching out and the boy is shaking his phone, thinking it's busted. But instead of fixing it, the text gets even more scrambled. Hai's like, forget it, and tosses his phone aside and wonders if it was some kind of event. Then he jumps up convinced the app's made him stronger and decides he's ready to face anything if it means leveling up. On his phone, a message pops up warning him to ditch the demon's request as soon as possible, or else it's organ contract time. Out of nowhere, a portal shows up on the screen, and inside, someone's watching with a grin. Then, the portal shuts, and another weird message pops up. The boy checks his phone and sees the words have changed again. Monsters in dungeons gotta be defeated regularly, or they'll break out and cause what's known as a stampede. But there's still a ton about dungeons that's a mystery. And that city, for example, is tangled up with creatures for some unknown reason. In the car, the hero's like, isn't this the city where the total eclipse tragedy went down? The driver chuckles, saying, what happened 10 years ago was a mess, but now it's under control, but the government ditched that area. Hiroto asks if that means only monsters get to live there. The driver says the only ones living there are the undead along with folks like the boy who are into the hunter school. Then the boy asks if all the undead weren't humans before everything. The driver explains that when the man of flow hit, it was so intense the dead started rising. Then a zombie steps in front of the car and gets run over. The hero's shocked to see that. The boy says there's a lot the government could try, but they just bailed on the whole city. Then he mentions if they don't take out the dungeon monsters, a bigger disaster could hit. Finally, they roll up to the dungeon portal. The driver lights a cig and says the boy can claim he's got veteran status, but there's still a level gap, as he thought. Then the driver calls the boy a weakling with an F aptitude and tells him not to get his hopes up about the hunter school. Then Hiroto hops out and grabs the driver through the window. Desperate, the boy's like, I'm just a regular dude who hates violence, but the driver keeps getting pulled. Then the hero yanks the driver out of the car. Suddenly, a massive monster stomps on the car, but the boy manages to leap away with his buddy. That thing's a Wendigo with a B-level subjugation difficulty. The two start booking it out of there. They hide behind a building, and the boy sneaks a peek at the chaos. Seeing the creature stomping on the car, the driver suggests they chill there for a bit cause students gotta be back from the dungeon by 4 and mentions there's someone in that dungeon group called the Witch of the Burning Flame. Hero's like, is that Yuzuki? Then the boy asks if the students can handle something like that. The young man replies that there are loads of people stronger than veteran level at a top school. Then he says he doesn't know why these monsters are roaming here, but they'll be fine if they wait it out. The boy decides to clear something up and asks if the weapon in the guy's holster is real. And the guy says regular weapons are useless against those things. Hiroto whips out a dagger, saying if the dude's not going to use his weapon, he might as well hand it over. The driver wonders if the kid's actually planning to take on that beast. Hiroto's all got to fight, man. Then the Wendigo starts sniffing around for them. The kid's like, guess we can't chill for 5 minutes, huh? After a bit, the creature keeps wandering. The guy's like, are you nuts? That thing's a catastrophe level monster. Regular weapons won't cut it. But the kid just grins, asking for the weapon. The young dude's like, "You even know how to use that?" These monsters have some kind of barrier on them, and people with skills have the same barrier. That's why only hunters can break through. Then the kid asks for the weapon again. Before the guy can say anything, he feels the Wendigo's icy breath getting closer. The kid's like, "Hurry up, dude." Even doubting it, the driver hands over the weapon, asking what the plan is. Hero is like, "I'll be the bait." Then the kid asks if he knows the monster's tricks, and the driver admits he's clueless, just a student caretaker. The kid explains those things are probably sensitive to weapon sounds or explosions. Then the kid figures if he hits the creature's white spot, he might do some damage, which means these things know humans have dangerous weapons. Then the monsters start closing in. The young dude's like, "I'll shoot." Grab their attention. And the driver admires the kid's guts, but doubts it'll work because the kid's stats don't seem up for two monsters at once. Then the guy grabs the kid, telling him to bail and leave him since it's clear whose life matters more. Hearing that, Hiroto's like, "If I run, you're toast." The kid's tired of people sacrificing for him. Then he bolts, shooting the weapon, drawing attention, and the monsters spot the human. The creatures try to hit the kid, but he dodges with mad agility. The kid turns a corner, the wind go hot on his heels, but it loses sight of him. Then Hiroto pops up above, dagger ready, and he grins. First monster down. In a crystal cave, someone calls for Yuzuki. A kid's hyping up the girl's fire magic. The group's mage gets jelly, asking what they thought of her skills. They praise her, too, but say Yuzuki's on another level. Someone tells the girl with her they could hit the dungeon's deepest part, asking if she's in. With a smile, she says yes, as long as they hustle. The mage is like, "Y'all don't get it because no one's ever conquered that dungeon solo." Yuzuki admits there's a talent gap, but with hard work, they can do it. Hearing that, the mage is annoyed, saying she's full of herself for having an S-rank skill, and it must be nice getting strong with no sweat. The healer's like, "You don't know Yuzuki's the hardest worker in school. People even call her the witch who doesn't sleep, because she trains early and studies late." Hearing that, the witch is speechless. The kid asks why she's grinding so hard. Yuzuki's quiet at first, then spills she was bullied in the orphanage and someone had her back. The healer surprised anyone could scare her. Then, Yuzuki says during a test she found out she had skills and the boy who helped her was F-class. She was stoked he helped her, so she decided to protect others. The mage smiles, saying it's brave for a guy to save a girl from bullies, and asks why she doesn't team up with him. Yuzuki says everyone there has talent and can achieve stuff if they work hard, but it's impossible for him. Right after the girl strolls up to the portal and boom, she's totally shocked by what's on the other side. Her squad tags along and spots that driver being chased by a bunch of Wendigos. Nearby, the main dude just KO'd one of those beasts with a headshot. Another monster shows up and charges at him, but he's got mad agility skills and dodges it like a pro. Then he slides under the Wendigo ninja style and climbs right onto its head. He whips out his weapon and fires at the beast, but plot twist, nothing happens. The creature grabs him and he's like, "Seriously?" He's bummed because the weapon only made the monster bleed a bit. Right after he breaks free and finally gets why hunters are a big deal. Hiroto then takes down another Wendigo, but no more show up. Meanwhile, Yuzuki's roasting those creatures with her fire powers. Her buddy's like, "Something seriously messed up here." The girl reaches the driver, asking where the bait boy went, and the guy points the way. Without a second thought, she bolts to help him. The main dude's chilling on the ground, surrounded by monster bodies. He takes a deep breath, saying it was as tiring as he thought. Because of that, he levels up to 17. Then he gets up saying he needs to get back to the car. Some goose starts oozing from the monster bodies, and suddenly they start getting back up. Right after, a portal pops open in front of them. While walking, Hero's bummed because his stuff got squished with the car. A text pings on his phone, saying he's got only 12 hours left. Yuzuki is still sprinting, looking for the bait student. Then she activates her power to sense enemies and starts following a tracker. Only S-rank hunters can see that. She thinks it's like a monster game with dungeons, and to top it off, pop-up messages. Then she grins, thinking it's a pretty wild story. Yuzuki thinks about how unfair the world is and how as a kid she thought she'd be a hero fighting evil, but now she can't trust anyone. Then she thinks she can't protect anyone anymore, but the world's unfairness won't stop. And for that, she got the power to fight evil, so she can stop the weak from crying again. Soon after, she turns a corner and spots the main dude, who in turn is speechless, seeing his childhood buddy. Later, the crew's in another car with the driver and Hiroto. The boy's feeling awkward about the ride. Then, he mentions he didn't expect the bait boy to be from Yuzuki's past, too, who right now is on par with hunters, even before enrolling. The mage asks if the buddy was trying to use the boy in their group, and the guy's like, "Don't be silly. The only cool thing about him is his stats before enrolling." Soon after, he says the max a rank F can hit is level 25. The witches bum the main dude's weak cause he was her type. The healer's like, you're awful for picking a partner based on hunter skills. The girl says it's different when he gets stronger with training, but she adds, it's tough having a guy weaker than you. Hiroto's thinking how they're treating him like a basic rank F as expected. Then he asks Yuzuki what her deal is with a new student. The girl says he's super important to her. Then she shares they were like siblings and he protected her from bullies. With a grin, the guy jokes saying, now the boy's useless and can't protect her. And she says that's why she has to defend him. Then Yuzuki tells Hiroto come to her if he's training in the dungeon so she can help him. The main dude stays quiet. That guy wonders if she's mixing her public and private life too much. The young man reminds her she has a duty to her country and can't waste time on that useless person. Yuzuki's all, nah, that dude's the only fam I've got. They roll up to this massive building. As soon as they hop out, some guy's like, yo, let's hit up the student council room. We gotta chat. Meanwhile, zombies are just chilling in the city. Out of nowhere, the ground's like crack and splits open. Boom! A giant symbol pops up. Then the creatures start shrinking until, bam, they explode. Blood drops start floating. They merge in the air, forming dark spheres. A monster starts popping out of one, and surprise, it's a miner. More of them show up, forming a whole squad. A portal opens and they jump through. In the Hunter School's training room, everyone's gathered for a mock battle. This dude grins, saying he's got to teach the newbie a lesson, claiming it's the secret to success to keep students alive. The healer's like, this feels personal. Then the guy's all, even if the kid's rank F, his combat's class, and it's wild to fight a Wendigo solo at that level. He insists the kid needs a reality check. The mage is like, count me out. That tradition's a nightmare. Then the woman asks if the genius got beat up too. Yuzuki's like, nope, no one was tougher than me back then. The witch bounces, saying she can't stand that girl. The guy grabs a baton, saying just the two of them are enough because if no one's watching, he might get in trouble. Then he tosses the baton to the protagonist, telling him to get ready, and warns the kid he'll get some bruises, but it's for his own good. Yuzuki's like, hold up, and steps up to the guy, saying she'll take him on. The guy argues if they let it slide, the kid will drag everyone down. The woman says training newbies with vets isn't pointless, but there's got to be another way. The guy's like, we're using hunter and school rules here. And as the disciplinary committee boss, he's got to handle it. User's like, this is beyond the committee's limits. Then she tells him to stop because she won't let anyone mess with the weak on her watch. The room goes dead silent. The vet drops his baton and bails. The woman apologizes to her buddy, but explains that at this school, aptitude's everything. Then she wishes him luck. Before leaving, she says the weak have their own way and tells him not to push himself. The boy's left alone in the training room and wonders if he's the one to fix this chaos. Later, the kid's searching for his dorm, and someone calls out to him. It's that guy again, saying the kid needs guidance. Hiroto's like, do I just need to fight you? The guy's like, nah, you just need my one-sided guidance. Then the protagonist's like, can I start? The guy's like, go for it. In seconds, the kid behind him knocks him out cold. Hai catches him so he doesn't faceplant. Then he leaves him there and bounces. We see a kid named Kinzuya being born. His parents are elite hunters raised in a super safe bubble. The kid thinks he's meant to be special. One day, he bumps into a giant dude. The guy lifts him off the ground. The kid slaps the dude's face to defend himself. Kinzuya hits the ground, gasping for air. Then he sees his slap sent the guy flying across the street, and he grins like crazy. With his new skills, he joins the elite school. Even there, he's still top dog, thinking he's God's favorite. But then he meets someone even better, which means their skills are off the charts. Kazu is all like, only Yuzuki can be his partner for the ultimate life. With a grin, he decides she's going to be his because she's special just like him, thinking she's the partner God set up for him. Later, Kinzuya wakes up on the ground, confused. Somewhere else, a lecture's happening. The speaker says there's a sign of a stampede in the school's training dungeon. Everyone's jaws drop in shock. Then the guy says, as everyone knows, dungeons are still a big mystery, but gadgets show monsters are on the rise. The young dude warns if the mana stays high, chaos will break loose, and a disaster could hit any time. But he says there's a way to stop it by beating the monsters while it's still chill, lowering the mana to safe levels. Hearing this, students wonder if it's for real, but they remember the contract says they got to help in emergencies. The young guy says he knows they're freaking out, but no worries, and spills that before teaching, they were ace hunters. Then he says advanced students will tackle the deep dungeon beasts, and tells everyone to gear up and follow their instructor's lead. Hiroto's nervous. It's his first day, and it's already wild. That girl shows up apologizing to the main dude, saying he's got some bad luck. Then she says he should have been in the top class with the best first years. She suggests he go introduce himself there. The students gossip about the newbie with rank F skills and a special trait boosting his stats. They're shocked a guy who won't level up is there. Hearing this, Harato recalls his buddies saying, hunter skills are everything. Soon, Yuzuki shows up asking if the young dude's got a SE to chat. They leave, leaving Kinzuya fuming. Outside, the girl says she senses a dungeon stampede coming. She mentions it's just a hunch, like a sixth sense. The girl says it might be her rank as skills. The boy's curious about what she means. Yuzuki explains senior students will handle deep dungeon monsters while Hiroto and others fight at the entrance. The main guy says instructors already mentioned this and assures her it's cool. Then the woman says it's normal to judge him by data. Yuzuki says if God exists, she's basically a special being. Suddenly, the woman says if things go south, he should head straight to her. If the stampede hits, everyone will be in a frenzy. Then the girl says the Reaper Scythe will still be lurking. But she promises her buddy there's nothing to worry about. She'll protect him. Elsewhere, some guys chat about the student mobilization, asking Europe if they should bail. The dude tells them not to be dumb. Quitting could get them expelled. One buddy reminds him hunters get paid well, but Urabi says no reward this time. Then someone joins the convo, apologizing. It's Kinzuya, saying he's confident in their skills. The boy asks if he's got something fun for them again. With a grin, the guy says he needs their help with some stuff. Then he says there's someone he wants gone. And everyone with their own plans teams up. Little do they know this training would turn into a total disaster. An hour before, all students gather at the portal entrance. The man explains those entering the deep dungeon are the instructor with mad combat skills and selected students with Yuzuki leading, and the rest will stay in the outer dungeon, taking out low-level monsters, and says they can do it safely if they follow orders. Right after, this dude tells the first to third year class, students they got to roll with the attack team to the deepest part because they're the top dogs in school. The students are shook to find out they're heading to the danger zone. Their entry time, high noon, 12 sharp. Out of nowhere, someone pops up asking why they gotta dive so deep, because the creatures are way too gnarly for them to handle solo. The man explains he's counting on them to back up the advanced team. And to get specific, they'll be on medic duty, protecting the injured or taking out any creatures that wander off in the squad. Then the organizer says the outer dungeon layer is for students below Class B. Hai realizes it's just like his buddy told him, and he wonders if she's in danger too. The boy starts thinking that knowing someone he knows might bite the dust will mess with his sleep. Then he figures Yuzuki's crew isn't exactly winning the luck lottery, but the man warns the main dude, and that redhead won't join the fight. They'll stick with the attack team till the middle layer. The guy explains once the coast is clear, they gotta make sure no monsters crash the shallow layer. So, the young ones are on lookout duty. The girl is ticked, asking why they can't join the fight since they're Class A2. The man says even in an emergency, they can handle it with the current squad. Then he says even though they're Class A, they ain't strong enough. So in this training, they gotta be picky about who to invest in. The girl wonders what he means by invest. The guy remembers those two have rank E and F skills, and because of that, they're seen as incomplete. Inside the dungeon, a bunch of creatures get roasted by the mage's flames. The commander orders the squad to get in position. Then the students keep battling those things, taking them down over time until, bam, a bigger, better version of those creatures shows up. A squad member grins, thinking those monsters are dreaming if they think they can win. Then the creatures get Kenai to the head, while that person keeps grinning and calls the crew to join the fun. A gentleman watching from afar comments he expected nothing less, and says they have the lowest frank of their attitude, but their strength is a rank level. Then he says they should have been getting invites from the Hunters Guild. With that, they realize it's a waste of talent. The young ones roll up, calling him sensei, and the man corrects them, saying it's instructor, and the boy asks if their mission is subjugation because they want to switch it up and do their own thing. The man gets annoyed, asking if he's going rogue again. Then the young man says he's just being real. Sticking with amateurs is a waste, and asks if it's cool as long as they keep subjugating. The gentleman says the young ones should be ashamed for their bad behavior, but they just say they'll do it their way. But still, the old man says no way. He's still the boss here. Kinzuya shows up telling the instructor to chill and warns those boys have top-tier skills at school. Then he says it's not smart to treat them like regular students and asks to lead them to form a command unit. The instructors decide to roll with it. With a grin, he says the instructors can count on him. Soon after, the young man bounces with the boys, advising their targets in the intermediate layer. Yuri rolls up, asking if he'd really introduce them to his dad if they follow orders, because his dad's the big boss of a major hunter guild in the country. And Kinzuya says he'll keep his promise, but they'll all be part of the Black Dragon Fawn Guild, and he'll handle the dirty work for the guild. Hearing that, the young ones crack up. With a serious look, Yuri wonders if taking people out is part of the gig, and says as long as he gets paid, he's cool with that kind of job. Kazu is all yo. If that's the deal, I got some epic news for you, dude, because our target's chilling with someone in the middle layer. With a grin that screams villain vibes, the young dude's like dead folks can't spill the tea. Then he spins around, saying Urabi and his crew can go wild with Hiroto's buddy. Meanwhile, in the middle layer, the squad bumps into some Wendigos. Yuzuruki's like, watch this, and slices one of those beasts in half. No sweat, but plot twist, there's still one left standing. The girl busts out a move called Air-Ep, letting her walk on air like it's no biggie. In no time, she slices the other creature in half, too. Everyone's jaws drop, totally blown away by her mad skills, while the main dude's just chilling, watching from distance. Someone rolls up, saying they expected nothing less from the school's top girl. It's that red-haired girl, totally impressed that Yuzuki can take down 2 Wendigos like it's nothing. She even says Yuzuki could lead the attack squad, and the main dude's just silently nodding in agreement, but he's also wondering if she's going a bit overboard. Then the girl goes, hey, I'm Murano, and offers a handshake, saying he can drop the formalities. Hiroto is not too keen on turning his back on a stranger, but he introduces himself anyway. Then he asks Morano about the dude in silver armor, and she says Kinzuya is handling Class B in the shallow layer. Herodato's like, you sure you want to shake my hand? Cause back at the orphanage, he got a lot of flack for his rank F skills, and it seems the school is no different. But Mir's like, chill? No worries about that. Leaving Hiroto all surprised by her chill response. Then she says she's low rank too, so no need to stress over dumb stuff. Hi's thinking she seems pretty cool. After a bit, it's just the 2 of them on watch, making sure no monsters sneak out. Marina's like, if I spot anything, I'll go report it. Then they hear a noise echoing through the cave, and a massive shadow looms behind them. It's a minotaur, which is super weird because they shouldn't be in this dungeon. The girl's all freaked out, wondering if it's too much for them to handle. The main dude's like, you really going to run and report? And she's like, even if I wanted to, there's another miner blocking my way. Hi whips out his dagger, saying they gotta handle this themselves. He charges at one of the beasts, but Murano's like, hold up. She tells him not to risk his neck for her and asks to let her handle that monster. The miner tries to smack her, but she dodges like a pro. Murano seizes the moment and lands a bunch of spear strikes on the beast. An axe flies her way, but she dodges it like it's nothing. Hi's mind is blown, watching her dodge with barely any effort. Then she sneaks behind one of the minotaurs, ready to attack again. She charges at the horned beast, but it just grins unfazed. The main dude realizes her attacks aren't cutting it, but then out of nowhere, Mirino lands a hit that makes the miner bleed. Seeing that, the other monster freaks out and bolts. Herodato's curious how her last attack pierced the miner. Murano explains that humanoid monster's weak spot is the throat. Herodato's all your martial arts are lit, and she's like, that's why I'm a Class A student. Then she asks if he knows ETI, and he's curious if she means the sword master. She says it's not just sword skills. There's a legend about his spear technique, too, but she's still piecing together her family's history. Murano's super proud of her samurai roots, and her hunter skills are still rank E. She spills that she studies every monster's weak spot. The main dude, shocked the instructor, overlooks her despite her martial arts level, and she's like, yeah, I think about that a lot. Suddenly, she starts yelling, calling that guy a total idiot, and cursing everyone born of mad skills. Also shouting for equal rights for all. Hiroto's jaw drops at the scene. The girl takes a deep breath, says it feels good, and asks if the boy wants to go, but he nopes out. The main dude starts thinking how cool this girl is. Then Mirino says she trains so hard she bleeds, but still feels like they're dissing her ancestors' moves, which makes her super mad. The woman admits she can't level up her strength, but she's still the top dog in the first year right now. Then Ureb's crew rolls up on the young ones. The boy says, even though the girl's rank is E, her martial arts are fire. The girl claps back, asking if he gets the limits of talent now. He says if the first year keeps leveling up, she'll lose her top spot soon. The girl gets ticked and asks what the boy's doing there. The young dude explains they're only there because of their boss. Kinzuya shows up, ready to settle things with the main guy. The boy jokes that accidents happen in the dungeon, and there's nothing handier than that. Hi wonders if the dude's out for payback for last time's knockout. With a grin, Kinzuya says dead folks don't spill secrets. Urub tells the young ones not to think it'll be a quick end. They were told not to give them an easy out. Mirin thinks the sitch is bad and heard rumors about that crew, but never thought they'd stoop so low. Then the main guy is curious about what they'll do with his buddy there. Kinzuya laughs, saying those two seem to be getting along. He asks what the young dude thinks about letting them mess with the girl right in front of him. Hearing that, Hiroto gets mad and charges, landing a punch on his rival's face. Just before that, Marino is ready to fight to protect the boy. But in a flash, she sees her buddy land a hit on Kinzuya. Then in a split second, the main guy is behind Urub, striking his neck. Hiroto decides to focus on the rest, taking them all down with one hit each. Marana's blown away by her buddy's speed. After that, the young dude finishes off all the boys, leaving the girl totally speechless. Meanwhile, deep in the dungeon, a hooded figure is surrounded by monsters. Then he starts some kind of ritual, speaking in a super weird language. The undead bodies start getting squished, and the Wendigos too. Seeing the chaos, the strange dude seems to enjoy it. Suddenly, he gets crushed himself. The whole place turns into a sea of red goo. Green lights start popping out of the blood, merging into one big light. Then, it zooms down a corridor. Behind a door, there's a lab full of capsules with trapped creatures. And among them is the sixth celestial demon lord, Vasha Valtine. That green energy zips into the lab, right into the demon lord's chamber, waking up that beast. Meanwhile, in the dungeon's shallow layer, that energy starts forming something until the sixth demon lord takes shape with armor. That's subjugation level A. When that level shows up, all local guilds bail on trying to take the dungeon with just their crew. It's got the power to make a guild bounce instantly, and making students fight is just dumb. Basically, it's the start of a big mess. Meanwhile, the group takes out a bunch of creatures. One of the young dudes says he was nervous when they got the emergency alert, but thinks it was no biggie. Then he says they were important even without slaying monsters because they were on lookout duty. Suddenly, they hear a noise from the cave and turn to see someone in armor. Meanwhile, the main guy and his buddy nab the dudes who came at them. Then, Murano mentions she heard the boys got the strength of a veteran hunter, but his real power is beyond student level. The girl gets curious if he'll finally spill the beans on his power, but the young dude says he can't do that. The girl asks why and even wonders if he's a secret agent or something, and the main guy says it's nothing like that. Then that knight shows up, making the kids wonder if it was some kind of super rare monster. Morino's all would never seen or heard of anything like that before. Hirato, though, remembers Yuzuki saying she thought a stampede was coming. So he checks his stats panel and sees his agility up, thinking it might be a danger alert. That knight whips out his sword and charges at the kids. But the boy dodges like a ninja and pops up behind the knight, ready to take him down. Then, poof, the knight vanishes and reappears behind Hirato. Hiroto dodges again, but gets a little scratch, making him realize his speed and combat skills just leveled up big time, and he knows he's got to get serious if he wants to win this fight. Then Hiroto charges at the knight. He pulls out a tiny bag and chucks at the knight. Inside, there's some spicy red pepper and munder mix from the dungeons, which goes boom with fire. Then Hirato casts a flame spell, causing a massive explosion, but the armor is still shiny and untouched. Hirato peeks inside the armor, spotting a skeleton chilling in there. The skeleton tries to attack, but Hiroto blocks it with his dagger, sending it flying. Now he's got to fight with just his hands. The monster goes on the offensive, but Hiroto grabs it and lands a punch, knocking it down. He seizes the moment and finishes off the skeleton, and he lets out a big sigh of relief after the battle. Moreno is amazed seeing her buddy bust out some judo moves. Hiroto turns to her, saying his hunter rank is F. So he tried everything, even judo, to get stronger. Then with a grin, he says he's giving it his all. Meanwhile, somewhere else, another knight is causing chaos. The students are freaking out, wondering what that thing is. Then the monster wipes out the humans. The students are getting more and more scared. A scientist shows up, telling them to chill and act like hunters. She says it might be one of those random dungeon accidents. The boys ask if she's sure about that. She says she called another guild for backup, and all they need to do is hold the line until help arrives. Quickly, some warriors form a defense line. The girl tells everyone to fight for their lives. Then she mentions that Instructor Godai is there. Hearing that, the kids feel a spark of hope, but then they're shocked when the woman gets hit on the head. At first, everyone's just stunned. One boy says it's cool. They still have Instructor Godai, but when they look, they see him down on the ground. Then he gets finished off with a single stomp. All the students start screaming in terror. Meanwhile, deep in the dungeon, another knight is causing mayhem. Yuzuki's ready to jump in, but someone stops her. It's a buddy, saying not even the instructor can beat that thing, but she might have a shot. He says he believes she can do anything. Yuzuki thinks if she uses her special ability, she might have a chance as it doubles her stats. The healer knows the cost of her using that power, thinking it'll shorten her life, but she's their only hope. He starts begging her to use her life to save them. Yuzuki thinks it's not proven her life is really at risk, but they believe it because a student said so. Seeing her ready to fight, the others thank her, while she looks at them, thinking they're selfish. Then she activates her ability and flames cover her body. Yuzuki says she'll lead and asks everyone to back her up with all they've got. As she draws her sword, she thinks about her role in all of this. Meanwhile, Marino mentions the dungeon is run by the school. Why is there a skeleton in armor just chilling there? Weird, right? Our hero suddenly remembers his buddy's warning and tells his friend he's worried about Kanzuya. He thinks he needs to dive into the deepest layer solo mission style. Murano chuckles, finding it funny he's worried about the so-called strongest kid in school. She insists she can help, but if she tags along, she'll just be a spectator, so she decides to hang back and watch the show. She shares how she's always tried her best since she was a kid. With tears in her eyes, she admits it feels kind of silly. Then her phone buzzes, announcing a strong desire for power has been confirmed and her access is complete. She's like, wait, what? She wonders if something's off. Maybe it's a virus. She jokes. Realizing what she said, she quickly adds, not that I was on any sketchy sites. Moreno asks if he can promise her something before heading to the deepest part. She wants him to promise he'll come back. She then offers to treat him to a coffee at the school cafeteria when he returns. Hiroto grins and agrees, imagining their coffee hangout. Then his stats panel pops up. He notices his agility stats are different and realizes 10 knights are heading his way. He decides to hide his friend to keep her safe. Marino asks if he's sure about the 10 knights. He confirms, but can't explain right now. Herodoto insists it's too dangerous for her to come along and asks her to wait. She just hopes he'll be okay. Then the knights show up. One charges at him, and he barely dodges. Hiroto's stressing, fighting 10 knights at once. He dodges attacks, but doesn't see another enemy sneaking up. He takes a hit, realizing he's in deep trouble. The knights gang up on him, leaving him in bad shape. Hiroto's getting frustrated. On the ground, he keeps talking even as the knights stare him down. One wonders why the locals are crashing their party. Then a panel announces the Demon Lord event is starting and the player will be transported to the location. Suddenly, Herodoto's fully healed and opens his eyes. He's facing a massive shadow. It's a giant creature. Another window pops up saying this is the tutorial start, and his opponent is that huge monster. The beast charges, destroying part of the city, but Herodoto's protected by some shield. He's confused about what just happened. The window explains that if he dies, he'll revive in the same spot, and to get the skill, he must defeat the creature. It also says there's a 10.5 m safe zone around him, and he can chill there as long as he wants. Suddenly, he gets a sword that can cut almost anything except the creature scales. The panel advises him to use his time wisely, then disappears. Harato checks out the sword. He wonders if his opponent is the crater-making creature. And the sword can't even cut dragon scales. Seems useless, right? But then he realizes he has a body that won't die and a sword that cuts almost anything. With that, he hatches a plan. He spots the dragon flying near the shield. Herodoto wonders if he can pull it off and thinks maybe he should just hang out until time's up to avoid any mess. Okay, buckle up, cause this story is about to get wild. So, our dude realizes if he gets sent back to where he bit the dust, things are going to be majorly uncool. He starts smacking his own face, wondering if he's totally lost it. Then he remembers, oh yeah, the app gave him mad skills and levels. But plot twist, he's not feeling any stronger. Bummer, right? So he grabs his sword, all fired up to take on this beast. He bolts out of the safe zone, charging at those monsters like a boss. The dragon's all not today, kid. But Hiroto dodges, climbs up its arm, and leaps for its head like he's in some epic action movie. But then Chomp, the dragon, swallows him whole. Yikes. Inside the beast, he's still kicking, remembering his undying body and sword that slices through almost anything except dragon scales. Go figure. So he's like, guess I gotta stab my way out of here. But being in a dragon's belly, not exactly a spa day. His body's feeling the burn. Luckily, his healing factor's got his back. Still, he's melting and healing on repeat like some twisted video game glitch. He starts yelling for help, but no one's answering. Minutes tick by, and his mind's about to snap. In his head, he's like, why'd I pull such a dumb move? Maybe because he craves power. Or maybe he just wants Yuzuki to notice him, but he knows she thinks he's weak sauce. So he decides, no way. He's giving up. Meanwhile, the dragon's just chilling, flying around. Then it feels something funky, like its insides are doing the cha. Suddenly, a blade bursts out, slicing it open like a piñata. The dragon crashes down, and Hiroto pops out, already healing up. A screen pops up saying he's hit his growth cap, and extra XP is just going to chill there. No leveling up for slaying the beast. He scores some sweet rewards like a 10-point strength boost. Then it's like, yo, you're going back to where you started. Flashback time. Yuzuki's gaming, where heroes are always epic. Heroes all be the hero. You can heal. She's like, why am I always the healer? And he's like, fighting's a dude thing. Plus, I don't want to see you hurt, even in a game. She smiles and he's all flustered. He tells her if she's ever in a jam, she can call him. Fast forward, Yuzuki's now a big deal. She's living her dream role in the game. But she's like, being a white mage was chill. This hero stuff's heavy. Meanwhile, she's battling knights, wondering what's up with them. She's wiped after taking down one monster, but there's more. She's thinking maybe she's not cut out to be a hero. Scared, she's like, I'm toast. No backup, just her. Her hands are shaking, and she realizes she's scared because she's been too busy being what everyone wants. She drops her sword, kneels as the knights close in. She's calling for help, even shouting for Hiroto. A monster's about to finish her, but bam, someone swoops in, taking it down. She's speechless, remembering Hiroto's promise to always help. She's wondering how his weak skills got him here. Hai's taking out knights left and right, leaving her mind spinning. But watching him, she finally gets it. With a grin, she's like, why didn't you get here sooner if you're so strong? He's like, I ran as fast as I could. Then he busts out the dragon slaying skill. A knight tries to attack, but Hiroto just catches the blade with his fingers. Nobiki. After that, the young dude whips out his dagger and slices his enemy like he's cutting a birthday cake. The boy's mind is blown like, well, that was easy peasy. Hirodato's brain is buzzing, thinking he needs that app to beat all these baddies. And he's like, what even is this thing? The girl chimes in, saying, it looks like the enemies got totally wiped out along with all their squad. The main guy's like, yeah, those peeps on that floor are toast. But he's itching to know what went down with the others in the shallow layer. Then the girl whips out this gadget that's super handy in dungeons with 0 bars. But crickets, no one's answering, which means they all got KO'd. The boy's like, hold up, there's still one person left standing. Then the young dude rolls up to where he left his buddy, but she's MIA. Hai's like, she must have been snatched, and drops that goblins are all about kidnapping gals. He turns to Yuzuki, saying they gotta find her before it's game over. The girl jumps in saying she's tagging along because she wants to help anyone who might have made it and feel safer with him. She then gives his shoulder a pat, saying she's counting on him. After a bit, they're both shook by what they see cause Marino's down for the count right in front of them. Seeing that, the main dude's brain flashes back to Akira, another buddy he lost. And that promised the girl made to grab coffee when they got back. But now she's gone. With that, Hiroto's eyes are burning with pure rage. And Yuzuki's yelling, worried about her friend. Right after, the boy goes berserk, slicing through all the knights like they're butter. The boy's thinking, how did this all go down on his first day at school? From that mission, there were 271 down, and only 2 made it out. After a bit, Hiroto is taking down most of the knights, leaving just one. Yuzuki's shouting, telling her buddy to chill. While the boy's eyes are leaking tears with that mess, the hunter school shuts down. The bigwig said they could switch to another school, but it's up to them, so they're cool to start working as hunters, which means they're totally free now. Soon after, the young peeps are strolling through a park. Yuzuki's asking what the boys' plans are. Hiroto straight up saying dungeons give him bad vibes. Not just because of the monsters, but the humans are trash too. The main dude's like, yeah, those people are the worst, but he still wants to chat with the ones who made him feel alive. With a sad face, the girl nods. Then she asks if he'll spill why he's so OP and why he wanted her to say she took out the monsters on that mission. Yuzuki's curious if it's a secret he can't even share. Hiroto's thinking it's not about trust, but he can't spill the beans on a power he doesn't get himself. Plus, if he says he's stronger than the girl with the top student title, the hunters would label him as a mystery ranker. The main dude's like he just wants to keep himself and his crew safe. Then the girl reminds him she already said she'd team up with him, but he says sorry, not interested in squads for now. Hiroto asks his buddy to keep his secret. Yuzuki's like, no worries, and jokes she'll be happier if he saves her quicker next time. The boy grins, saying he sprinted as fast as he could. After that, the 2 young peeps walk off, cracking up. Later that night, the main dude's snoozing in his room until his phone's like, ding, mission time, and it's go time. Soon after, the young dude zapped away. A screen pops up saying someone has to bite the dust to win. Hero clocks there's someone else there with him. Turns out it's Moreno. Another screen says both players know the deal now and attacks are a go. Both the girl and the main dude feel super awkward seeing each other because now they gotta go all out to take each other down. 7 days ago, Hiroto was wrecked after finding his friend's body. But after he left, he got zapped away. She's taken to a coliseum. Confused, she's like, where even am I? A panel pops up saying the link with Lucifer is a go and boom, she's got the morning star power. The girl's totally shook seeing this. Then the screen hints she can take out the other player and she's all, what's that about? Suddenly across the arena, a light flickers and slowly a body starts forming until bam, the main character shows up. Both are like, whoa, it's you. Marino says those dark nights took her out and when she woke up, she got this mission. The boy asks if she knows about the Demon Lord app, and she's like, you mean that virus on my phone? The boy's shocked there's someone else in this mess. The girl's curious about what's going down, and Hiroto spills the tea about the app. In a lab, someone walks in asking how things are rolling. His buddy says the boy's the top pick, but so far they're just chatting. One guy says this is snoozeville for the audience and suggests stirring things up without messing with the fight. In the arena, Marino's like, can't believe what my buddy said. The boy's like, same, but I'm getting crazy strong. The girl's wondering what to do since one of them has to lose. Then she's curious if her buddy also didn't die. The boy thinks Murano's power and her comeback are different from his, wondering if their apps aren't the same. But he figures there's no point in overthinking and tells her if 3,600 seconds pass, it's a draw. The boy says they just gotta chill and wait it out. But then the screen warns the fight ends only when one's out, leaving them super annoyed. Then both get a smack on the ears. A panel says a tie's detected and penalty time's on. Seeing blood, the boy's like, is this the punishment? Then he starts feeling weird, wondering what's up. Murano feels off too. Her eyes change color. Then she acts like she's controlled, saying she must take him out or else. Seeing this, the boy's like, what are you on about? But soon he's acting weird too, and says she's right about the whole kill or be killed thing. They both get ready to rumble. Mayano makes the first move using her Morningstar power, but the boy dodges it like a pro. Hai thinks if he gets hit, he's toast, but no way he's getting hit. He recognizes her skills like spear moves and martial arts, but their stats are way different. With a smirk, the boy tells her to quit the fight. Suddenly, she lands a punch on his face, but he's like, that was weak. Just like Yuzuki back then, thinking of his friend, he snaps back to reality, realizing they're really in a death match. Then he's controlled again, but he fights it. Distracted, he gets attacked by Mirino. Then Hiroto regains control and starts pleading with her to listen, but she keeps hitting him with no choice. He kicks her away, and she snaps out of it apologizing. The panel's back telling them to finish each other off, but the boy's mad, saying no way, and she agrees. They earn the title, Those Who Defy the Will. Hiro wonders whose will they defied, but figures it doesn't matter now, just the powers do. He asks if Moreno got a title too, and she says yeah. Hearing that, he goes quiet, thinking it's just like what he got. Then he asks if she wants to go down together. She's shocked. Hiroto says he's suggesting it because he doesn't want to end her and it's better than just waiting to die. So he's taking the lead. The girls all chill with it. The boy gets why they got the title, but those powers, they bug him. Since they didn't follow orders and bailed on the mission, he's like, do we really need powers if we're cool with dying? Then he's all these apps are just like a game. Just like when he last went after the Demon Lord, dropping hints for a path no sane person would take. Herod's like, there's got to be some game in this duel too, because you can totally feel someone's vibe behind it. And in that app, someone's betting on their fight, and he wouldn't even be shocked if it's true. Marinino's like, what's the plan? The main dude's like, the title and power's got to be important. Maybe a clue or something. Then he hands a spear to the girl and asks if they should try to bounce. Hiroto's like, not enough proof for that. Then the arena door starts opening and the guy's like, yes, I was right. They head into the corridor and the main dude's like, looks like we're on track. Then they start sprinting cause time's ticking. Because of this, they start getting penalties, losing HP bit by bit. Later, Hiroto and his buddy keep running straight, taking hits as they go. The boy's stressing because their health bar is dropping fast. The girl's like, we've got less than 10 HP left. And the boy's like, yeah, this is bad news. Hai thinks their wounds aren't too bad, but there's still a ton of blood. Marino's like, want to turn back? She got a message saying, no penalties if they do. The main dude's like, why bother? We just end up fighting each other. The girl's like, I know, but we're toast if we keep this up. Then the boy spots a light, and they decide to book it towards it, but Marino trips. Hai's worried and tells her to hang on. They're almost there. The boy decides to carry her cause he's not dying here. Even so, he keeps taking penalty hits. Because of this, his HP drops to 1. The main dude's like, this crazy app made him make wild choices thanks to those mystery folks. It's like being in a nightmare. Then the boy takes another penalty hit, losing all his life points, but somehow he gets 1 more HP. The boy jumps up yelling and keeps carrying her to the light. Once through the door, a window pops up saying both players survived and got the title Those Who Rebel Against the World. Meanwhile, the app guy's like, most people voted for them to escape, and it's been ages since he's seen such a big voting gap. Someone's like, was that cool? And the guy's curious if he means the last-minute save. The guy's like, chill. They didn't start with full HP. He says the arena fight was their doing, and he just played fair. Later, the main dude's chilling in his room messing with his phone while Murano's taking a bath. The boy's wondering what kind of app that was. The girl comes out thanking him for the shower. Hiroto's like, how are your wounds? And she's like, no injuries since waking up. Then the boy remembers the titles they got and thinks these 3 titles are somehow linked. Murano's like, she doesn't think the app people are bad. The main dude's like, what's she mean? The girl's like, they made it to the end of the corridor and someone left them away to dodge fights. Marino's like, she read a manga where the master doesn't trust humans, goes on a rampage, but still wants to believe in them. So, as long as players keep their cool, no one has to die. But in that story, everyone just does their thing, and more people keep biting the dust. Hai's just glued to his phone, right? He tells his buddy he thinks the app's not as cool as she thinks. Meanwhile, Yuzuki's chilling in her room, thinking the window in front of her is like a game. She wonders why only Rank S folks can see that panel. Then boom, another window pops up, telling her to take out Hiroto and Murano. She's freaked out, wondering what the heck that was. The panel's all, "Do you accept this mission?" Back in Hiroto's room, he's telling his friend the app's not what she thinks, and she's all curious, like, what do you mean? Suddenly, a window pops up saying she's got 10 days before meeting the death pursuer. Marino's like, what's a death pursuer? The main dude says they dodge having to take each other out, but they're still under control, you know? Time flies, and the dude's on the phone with someone. It's Yuzuki asking why they're being targeted. He's like, I don't know. Then he spills the tea. Mission starts in 10 days. Then they got to survive 24 hours since she bailed on the mission. She's probably on another one. Then he asks if only Rank S hunters can see those windows. She says she read it in the hunters.